So, my interpretation of tīmata i te ririkitanga, tīmata i te kounga, which was the message we went home with, was to establish te wā parakuhi hei wā rumaki. And I chose this because, as we all know, it's pretty much the same every day, even down to what you eat. We very rarely get visitors or other interruptions, and we already had some good language around kai, and we're almost always all there, unlike dinner time sometimes. These are some of the things I did. I thought about and listened to the things we say all the time, and then I found some resources and I made some resources. So these are off Nicole's page, and then I just got the old crayons out and made these attractive things. And I put them right beside the table, you know, right beside the table. So if they don't know what to say and they look at me and say in English, I go, you know. We start with karakia, get in the zone. And now, more recently, I speak te reo from the time I get up till the time they go to school. And I think because they get up and that's the first language they hear from me, they're kind of ready once they get to the table, rather than if I was just talking English and then we're like, right, go, you know, speak Māori now. So that's good. It's a bit of a gentler start for them, I think. And I'm always there, actually. That's a big part of it. If I left them, I think even with the best of intentions, they'd probably go, hey, rah, 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 you know. So I'm always there, and I'm just prompting language use, really. So how are we going? Well, this kind of language, the kids have had it. The kids have had it for some time, and they use it, and that's really cool. What's hard is all that other stuff, you know. Te reo whakawhiti, is it? And sometimes it makes me crazy, and that's when I have to remember what my ātārangi people tell me about ngā kaumāhaki. But it actually has been getting better. So we started this in mid-January, so what's that? That's about 6 months. And last Thursday, we cracked it. And the reason for that was because the thing they wanted to talk about was Pokemon Go. And we've been building language around Pokemon Go, and there's big word lists right by the table all about Pokemon Go. And more than that, so what they were doing, they were actually engaging with each other without me in te reo, not as fluently as they would have in English. But they respected the rules around rumaki enough to sacrifice a bit of fluency because they had enough. They had enough to manage. I cooked them pudding that night. That was a good day. In addition to that wā rumaki, we've also got a couple of horopaki rumaki going that I alluded to. So that's kēmu kāri, kēmu puripuri, and tunu kai. So the next couple of slides aren't straight whakamahi. They're kind of ako, you know, it gets a bit intermixed, but they illustrate how I'm supporting whakamahi at home. So we do it around kaupapa. And I don't know how to explain how we do it really. It's that if you've got schools that are into student agency and student-led learning, you know, it's that kind of whakaaro, I guess. I kind of put it up there and I talk about it a little bit, but I don't try and sit them down and say, you need to learn this, you know. So this kaupapa here is one that we've been talking about for a couple of months. I don't rush it either. That's not really, we just kind of do it gently and slowly. So anyway, I'm babbling. Right, so there's a karakia here. Whakatake te hau. They learnt that one at school, but we do it at home, and I want to give it some context for them, you know, within the language. I heard Ruakiri talking about a further context just before, so that's great for us. But yeah, you know, within the context of hōtoke and huarere, there's whakatake te hau talking about how cold we all are. Take it back to Te Atua Māori and worldview, so he's just sitting there on the board and amongst it all. This is something that we were given, and you just write the day of the week, month, season, and the weather, and like that's quite babyish really, isn't it? But if you do something all the time and the kids take turns, then it embeds. And of course, they're boys, maybe girls are the same, I don't have girls, I don't know girls, but they're competitive, you know, so they're trying to find better words for hōtoke, like, you know, and better words for rangipaki, so that's good. Te hore mai te rangi, so there's a waiata there, that's really great language, you know, we all know it, but you forget that that's some really great language for weather. And we went to this ātarangi kaupapa and we were given kupu and pictures of different weather patterns and we made them in Play-Doh. And that was really fun for adults as well as kids, it was really cool. Next, another kaupapa we're talking about, like everybody, matariki. Me te whānau o tamanui te rā. So, you know, that's that beautiful book that Paraone Gloin and Te Wānanga o Aotearoa put together, that Puka Ngohe. And so, with all the stars, so I told them that the song that they know, with the 7 stars, that's good, they're still there, but they've got 2 more now. So, I do actually sit them down and talk about that before we got started, because I thought there was some great info in there. But books, rename everything. The little one, he was doing this puzzle, and he was looking back there, because there's the old whānau whakapiri and matua sharpie in effect there, and so that's all been renamed. And he was doing the puzzle, and he was looking up there to see the Māori names, and you know, the the eternal Uranus joke leapt the language barrier. And so Te Manako was looking up there and he goes, wherangi tō tero. So I thought, well, you know, it's a... and we're going to make, we're making a mobile of tamanui te rā out of paper mache. So kind of, yeah. Next one is tō tinana. So this is a game where the body was drawn on the glass doors. This is another kaupapa we go to, and it was a whakataitai to see who could name the most body parts. Those games are great. Use it for tinana. There's really cool kiwaha that go back to different parts of the body, and the kids really enjoy that, so we use that. And finally, Pokemon Go. Yeah, actually really easy language. So, somebody actually did you put that on Facebook?
Yeah, it's on the Haidor Whānau page.
Yeah.
I think it's on Te Whakaronga.
It's so great, because then, you know, you don't have to go and translate it yourself. You know, there's lots of people out there. It's a great community online, really, for helping you with this. Okay, so the next slide. Yeah, Pokemon pūniwha, maybe, for the old pocket taniwha. So whakamahi. Aroha mai. Yeah. So this is an example of some of the mahi we do in Kura Whānau Reo, which is a kaupapa under the umbrella of Te Ātarangi. So I'm lucky I found this kaupapa. It's being run at home. It embraces the 5 aspects of the language planning that we talked about, and this is an example of how that works within our kaupapa. So we meet regularly. The kids don't always come. Sometimes it's just support for me with language planning, but the kids do come for hui tōpū and other things. So the kids came, were a bit early. They're mad about handball at that point. So they brought their ball and they were playing while we waited. And then Alexanne turned up, and she's one of our language mentors. And she observed for a while, listened to all the English being spoken, and then she just jumped in the game and started giving them cheek in te reo, as well as giving them a bit of other language. But, you know, and then the next time we met, she and Leonie, the other mentor, had gathered these resources around hākina kina, and there was nothing about handball, so we made up our own kupu, and then we made a word list. And then Leonie taught it through the rākau. And then the rest of the session we played handball, e roto katoa i te reo. And that's one of the ways that whakamahi works within that kaupapa, and I think that's really cool. There's a lot to learn from that, for me, about just actually observing and listening, and then getting involved with them and feeding the language to them that way. So I really love that. I'm really lucky. We're really lucky to have this. And then the next picture is from another ātarangi kaupapa. I love ātarangi. It's a pilot program developed by Ewan and Sue Pohe. And we got involved because I got talking to Ewan at Kura Whakarauora. So, the pilot program is for 10 wānanga. They run from 10 on a Saturday morning to 11 on a Sunday morning. They're held at the Pohe Whānau's whare at Hokio, which is outside of Levin, and it's not their primary home, and it's really well set up for the reo. So there's stuff on the wall, and there's no mainstream TV there, you know, and anything like that. Lots of Māori puka puka, games, etc. Each wānanga is for 4 family, including the Pohe Whānau, and ko te reo Māori, te reo matua mo te katoa o te wānanga. Imagine my boys. Hey, 24 hours. So there's a formal element with mihi mihi at the start, and then it's very much he noho a whānau. And you can, I hope, it's hard to see, I hope you can see that. You know, there's Ewan teaching my boy a couple of chords on the guitar, cooking, playing games, running around outside. There's the Play-Doh thing, going to the beach. It's really relaxed, it's lovely. There are papamahi, but they're all around, they're like that, playing games, having kai, doing all of that. So we've been 4 times, and we'll go back in 2 weeks for the last in the pilot program. And I finished with this because it's been massive for us. I was trying to figure out why this kaupapa has been so effective for us so I could tell you, and really there's so much. So it's a wāhi rumaki, but we've never spoken English there before. So I tried to create wāhi rumaki at home. It wasn't really as successful as time and horopaki. But this for us is like a portal. You know, when we go in there, there's just this mind shift. He whare reo Māori. It's awesome. The kids have met peers, and it's not just, we are one of the very few whānau who are mainstream because there's kura kids, it's mostly kura kids here. But the kids have met peers, and we've met peers. It's fun, and it makes what we do at home feel normal. And there are no distractions and no opportunities to opt out for anybody, including me and Paul. But most important is that we do it as a whānau. So a couple of months ago when I was talking about our mahiri reo, I remember I used these words, he mātou akutama ki te reo, engari he waua te whakakōrero i a rātou. And now I know that's not right. He waua te whakakōrero i a mātou, te whānau. Because the child is not the issue just because the child has the least language proficiency, because he's the most likely to just throw caution to the wind and give it a go, isn't he? So I was focused on trying to change the children's behaviour. Actually, it's an embedded family behaviour, and that's what needed to be changed. And the best way to do that was he noho a whānau. So Paul and I, it's hard to see change in your own home, right? It's hard to see because it's slow growth. And so every now and then I'm like, you know, puku no he, whatever. And Paul said, oh, can't you see the progress? I'm like, I can't see the progress because my head's in it all the time. And he goes, oh, you know, there's been big change. Alex Ann, you know, because they're supporting us from afar, they said, God, your kids have really changed. And I'm, oh. But since the last wānanga in particular, this last kura hokioi, I can see change. And Paul and I, we can really see the change in the kids. They have just let it go and are really trying. And to me, that says that the four wānanga that we've been at have started to break that embedded behaviour pattern. And that's priceless.